The morning sun filtered through the slatted wooden window of the single-room apartment in Makoko, casting lines of gold across the cracked cement floor. Tolu Ajayi sat on the edge of his threadbare mattress, staring at the envelope in his hands. His palms were sweaty. His throat was dry. The envelope was thin, but it carried the weight of his entire future. He could hear the bustle outside, the vendors shouting, children laughing, the slap of water against the stilts of the shanty homes in the lagoon. Life was always loud in Makoko, but today it all felt like static. All he could focus on was the letter and what it meant. Inside the envelope was an offer letter from a tech hub in Abuja. A full scholarship for a one-year intensive software engineering program. Housing, meals, and even a small stipend included. The result of one late-night application, a 3-hour aptitude test done on a borrowed phone, and a month-long wait that had felt like forever. But there was a problem. Tolu's mother had fallen ill 2 weeks earlier. The local clinic said it was a treatable infection, but the medicine cost more than they had. His younger brother, Sei, was an SS2 and barely passing. Their father had passed away years ago, and Tolu had become the mun of the house before he even finished secondary school. The tech program started in 6 days. Abuja was nearly 700 kilometers away. If he went, he wouldn't be able to care for his mother or support Sei, at least not immediately. But if he stayed, he would continue the cycle they'd all grown up in, struggling to survive each day, scraping by on menial jobs that drained him but barely paid enough to eat. That afternoon, he walked out to the dock, where old fishermen mended their nets and young boys jumped into the water to cool off. He found a quiet spot at the edge and sat down, watching the ripples shift with the breeze. His friend Ikenna joined him. "You're thinking too hard again," he said, sitting beside Tolu. "I got the scholarship," Tolu replied, eyes still on the water. Ikenna's eyes widened. "Guy, that's amazing." Tolu didn't smile. "Yeah, but Mommy is sick, and Sei still needs help with school. If I go, we'll take care of them." Ikenna finished. Tolu nodded slowly. Ikenna was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "You remember what your father used to say?" Tolu chuckled. "You mean, no matter how small the door, if it opens, step through it." "Exactly. This door is not small, Tolu. This one is big, and it's open. But stepping through it means leaving everything behind." "No," Ikenna said, shaking his head. "It means building something new, so you can come back and change everything." That night, Tolu sat with his mother, who was propped up against a pillow. Her voice was weak, but her eyes were sharp. When he told her about the offer, she reached for his hand. "You must go," she said, as if it was already decided. "Mama, how will you manage?" "I managed before you were born. I'll manage again, and Sei will too, because we'll know our Tolu is doing something we could only dream of." Tolu swallowed hard. That was the moment. The choice. It didn't come with a bang or a bolt of lightning, just a quiet knowing that his life could be more than the sum of his limitations. He went to bed that night with the decision carved into his heart like a promise. 4 days later, he boarded a night bus to Abuja, with nothing but a small bag, a heart full of fear, and the blazing fire of possibility. Abuja was a different world. Wide roads, tall buildings, power that didn't flicker every other hour. The tech hub was modern, clean, and full of people who looked nothing like the boys he grew up with. They spoke fast, wore noise-canceling headphones, and talked about things like machine learning and scalable systems. Tolu felt out of place at first. He had never owned a laptop, and the first coding assignment felt like someone had handed him a book in a foreign language. But every night, after the others had gone to sleep, he stayed up, watching tutorials on his tablet, typing lines of code again and again until they finally made sense. He called home twice a week. Mama's health improved, thanks to help from a neighbor and a nurse Ikenna found. Sei's grades went up too. "I want to build apps like you one day," he said during one call. That gave Tolu the fuel to keep going. 8 months in, Tolu was leading a team that developed a mobile platform to help small businesses manage inventory using only SMS. It caught the attention of a startup incubator, and by the time the program ended, he was offered a 6-month grant to continue building it into a product. He used his first paycheck to send money home. The second went to pay for Sei's WAEC fees. By the third, he'd saved enough to visit Makoko again. When he stepped off the bus and walked through the wooden alleys of the lagoon community, people stopped and stared. He looked different now, taller, more confident. But he smiled at everyone and hugged his mother like nothing had changed. But everything had. He wasn't the boy who had to choose between duty and dreams anymore. He was the man who had chosen to believe that the possible was worth chasing, and had run after it with everything he had. Later that evening, he stood outside with Sei, watching the sun set over the water. "You think it was worth it?" his brother asked. Tolu smiled. "It was the choice that split my past from everything that could ever be." Sei nodded slowly, then whispered, "Then I'm ready to make mine too." And just like that, the cycle began to break. Not by luck, but by choice.